Fake CSGO cheat software makes hackers jump off maps, blow themselves up. Do you see that thing about the TF2 bots?
No. But it sounds
So,
like a good time.
they were putting in bots to TF2 that were specifically tracking down cheaters and, like, cheating bots. So you had, like, hyper-competent hunter bots going after cheater bots.
That's awesome.
And you know what, my first thing that popped up into, the first thing that popped up into my mind was?
The Terminator. Terminator.
Not even. Although, yes. But the thing that came into my mind was like, what if you took that concept, but then you did the old school TF2 thing of, what if we made a map where it was just cheater bots and Valve bots going at it, and everybody was watching from the sidelines? And you could have like, you could make bets, you know. Oh no, follows Chalk.
He's dead. We're just gonna have to live with it.
By the moon and the stars in the sky, your sacrifice will not be forgotten, follows Chalk.
Gotta give him a nice, dignified funeral. If I can. Come on.
I'm trying to give you a dignified funeral. Damn it, follows Chalk. Why do you fail me even in death?
I think because his leg is stuck in the floor. Both of them.
What leg? Oh, well, that leg.
Oh,
Can
well,
you cut the leg off?
I can try.
Cut his leg off so you can give him a dignified funeral.
Alright, here we go. Into the water you go. Into
Good.
the drink it goes.
That's how you solve problems in this wild wasteland.
Rest in peace follows Chalk, killed by a Yaoguai.
Whoa, whoa. Yep. Bye, buddy.
It was nice knowing you. Was it? Eh, he was alright, I guess.
It was fine. It's fine. Oh, apparently Ultraman is now a Marvel Comics character as well. Which is neat. I'm looking forward to that Platinum Games, like, Kamen Rider looking game that we don't know anything about other than the trailer.
Yeah. You know, I probably should have given him that metal armor instead of dropping it. Oh well.
Absent-mindedly sips from his canteen.
Immersive stream,
Like,
here we go.
It's like that thing with Kermit drinking the Lipton tea.
Yeah? But that's none of my business.
Don't you worry. I hate this. I hate this title. Why Among Us's emergency meeting is the big social media mood. I hate the term big mood.
I'm glad that you're here to make these bold statements.
I'm glad you're here as my captive audience to have to deal with them.
I thought you were gonna say, I'm glad you're here as my witness.
I'm glad you're here as my witness. What? Apparently, Netflix has like a Disney Channel style show called Julie and the Phantoms, which sounds awesome. I mean, Julie and the Phantoms as a name sounds awesome because it's just Josie and the Pussycats.
Yeah. Here we are at the fishing lodge. Let's check it out. Oh, it's geckos.
Geckos aren't fish.
Good thing nobody told them that.
It's a nice looking lodge.
Yeah. You get rid of
Got
the
a-
corpses and it could be pretty nice.
Got a pool table and everything.
It has got a pool table and everything. You get rid of some shit.
Don't need it. Don't need it. Get rid of it. Watch Dogs Legion will let you play as a robotic beekeeper and Aiden Pierce.
Great. I wonder how much ass that game is gonna suck.
I have no hope for Watch Dogs Legion at all, because I think everything that I liked about Watch Dogs 2 got totally thrown out the window.
There can be
I'm
no
pretty
hope in this place. Not at all.
Have confidence. No confidence.
Oh, a new hockey mask. Since apparently that's what we're rocking.
I guess so. The long-lost Dune board game is now back in print.
Huh.
Dune is one of those properties that I had, like, no exposure to at all. It's one of those, like, really big fandoms that you can get into, or you can just easily sidestep it. It's like Lord of the Rings in that way. You're either way in or you're not in it.
That's how I felt about Dragon Ball for the longest time.
Turns out Dragon Ball's great. The Xbox Series X can stream and record gameplay in 4K at 60 FPS.
Oh, good.
I don't know if I believe that. That sounds like the kind of thing that you put on your box and then it actually doesn't do it.
What is
I'm
this,
to this
the 90s?
Dude, I'm at this point now where every time some kind of benchmark comes out, like, our console can play a solid 60 FPS at 1080p, I'm like, no it can't. Why would you lie? Your games are not all gonna do that.
Odds are pretty good that it cannot do that.
Odds are pretty good that you're gonna be releasing games at a locked 30 anyway. Maybe I'm wrong, but so far I haven't been wrong about these things.
Oh god, yes, some Nuka-Cola. I'm very happy to receive of these items.
Nuka-Cola giveth, and yet Nuka-Cola taketh away.
It's true.
Sea of Thieves adds dogs.
Yeah, it's true.
Good things. All good things. Man. Oh, did you see Mulan is like a huge flop in China?
No, but that's funny.
That's really funny to me, and also, like, poetic justice. In a lot of ways. I still can't believe that Adult Swim canceled Venture Brothers. I know we talked about that before, but that still super sucks.
It sucks ass. It's horrible.
Unfortunate.
I need to find a merchant. Are there any merchants in Zion Canyon?
It's a good question. I will look into that for you. What have we got? Zion Canyon. Fallout Wiki. We have we have a lot of locations. We have, I guess I'll just look at all of these inhabitants because none of them say merchant, so we'll just have to see.
Yeah.
High-level weapons are abundant in Zion Canyon. In contrast, good armor is not in abundance. Oh,
Piercing strike.
yes.
That's really good.
There is a general store, it looks like. Yes.
And there's like, it's an actual store with people who sell shit? Or is it just a location called General Store? Because keep in mind, this is Fallout.
Yeah.
I have to go there anyway, so I'm going to be heading in that direction, but you can get back to me on that.
There is a store manager complaining on the terminals about a missing... Nope. Nope.
Dead guy.
This is, yeah. This is just a location. Although, yeah, there's nothing in here that we can use, really. What else do we got? Oh my god. Yeah, that guy's name is great. Let's see what else we got here. I'm definitely trying here. There's not a whole lot of information. Despite this being a wiki, there's not a lot.
Well, while you have the page up, maybe there's something else you can answer for me.
Yeah.
Where do you get greased lightning?
It is a Hidden Valley sold by Torres.
Hidden Valley. Oh, I know where that is. Okay.
Yes.
I have to use the restroom. I will be right back. And we will also be right back. See you soon.
I have good news for you.
Well, you're gonna have to share it with the class, because we're live again.
Hey class, I hope you're all doing well. Research indicates that the only merchant in Honest Hearts is one Joshua Graham.
Oh, well, that's convenient. I think.
Yes. I mean, it's only convenient depending on how far you have to go to get to it.
And that kind of all depends on how low I can get my weight here.
Well, I am down for whatever we have to do in order to make it through.
Yeah, you say that. Spoken like somebody who doesn't actually have to do anything. Well said.
That's my response to you. You guys like E chords? I hope you like E. Sounds real nice. It also sounds super easy because it's only 2 fingers. Of course, they said that about me too, but
Oh no.
don't worry about that. Hold on, I got something for you. It's a... Nope. There we go. That's as much as you're gonna get out of me.
That's a something.
Yeah.
That's a baseball.
No, that's a guitar, my friend.
That's where you're wrong.
I could be wrong. It's entirely possible that I'm wrong, but I don't think so.
Now, I can't lie to you, that's a pretty good sound.
It's a nice sound. I'm happy with the sound. The sound it makes. These sounds. I'm trying to think about what I should draw on Clancy's face this time around.
Can't just do the hockey mask again? Obviously,
Can do a
what
hockey
we need
mask
is
again.
a change of headwear.
Yes, honestly, that would be helpful as well.
And as soon as I decide what to drop, I've got just the thing.
I've got a little. What is it? Oh, nope, it's the other one.
Oh, for a second I thought they were all ganging up to kill me.
Me too. Oh wait, you were talking about the guys on the screen and not the guys in my head. Okay. Yeah, me too. I'm gonna go ahead and unplug this amplifier, because otherwise, this ain't gonna. This isn't gonna end.
What the? Where'd he go?
Have you checked in your head?
Hey, we're not at we're not at the Old World Blues yet, okay? You leave my head out of this.
That's what I said.
Is he up here, maybe?
Maybe. All right. Back into storage you go.
Where the fuck did he go?
Well, that's not him. For a second, I thought it might be him, but it's not him. That's just a bald guy. A baldman.
Baldman, you say? To shreds, you say?
Well, how's his wife doing? To shreds, you say?
We can't keep making that joke.
Yes, we can. We can do whatever we want.
It won't allow
And
it.
if you think that's not okay, I got some news for you.
Oh, here he is.
Is he asleep?
Welcome back. What can I do?
Or is he just walking around?
We do. Though the White
Kind of
Wings
both.
destroyed New
Well, I gotta hear his
they
voice
didn't
now that I
destroy
know that
all
he's
of our
Daniel
supply
Holtz.
caches. All forms of currency are recognized here. Caps, NCR dollars, even Legion coin. Take a look.
Oh, he does
Oh, yeah.
have a lot.
Not a lot.
He's got a bunch of stuff, but not a bunch of money.
Yeah, actually. I was expecting at least 1,000, but no, not even half. I mean, that's kind of, I guess that's part of the challenge for this, this whole, if he's the only merchant you have, it would make sense as to why he's so well stocked, though. Daniel, if you pass a speech check with Graham, Daniel also does doctor things. But yeah, those are the only two people like approaching vendor status.
Well, that's a bummer.
I mean, you can go back to the Mojave, can't you? It just takes 14 days.
Does it actually take real time? That I wasn't aware of.
Yes, I believe so. I don't know if it's back and forth takes 14 days, but I know getting there takes 14 days.
I think you might be stuck here. That's what my intuition is telling me.
Possibly. What are we looking for?
Just some place to offload all this shit I don't need. Because I refuse to throw it away.
I can tell you that there are some safe locations. I was actually just looking at that. Let me open back up here and what you can use the Airy and you can use Stone Bones Cave.
The question, I guess, becomes, does he have anything I want?
Well, purified water is probably good to have, right?
The weapon binding rituals can heal crippled limbs, which is incredibly good.
That is good. I mean, I guess one of the
bunch of ammo.
One of the blessings of our character is that we don't necessarily have to we don't need to hold a lot of weapons.
Yeah. If I had my way, though, I would totally be using lever action, if not that gun.
I mean, as long as you maintain yourself, that's the only weapon you'll ever need.
It's true.
Let's take a look at Humble Bundle. Let's see if Humble Bundle is doing anything good. I got a copy of Among Us as another birthday present.
Yeah.
Which have you seen anything about that game?
I've seen enough of it to know that it would be amusing to watch other people play, but not amusing to play myself.
Yeah, I have played back in the day. There used to be a couple of games like that, like browser games that I would play. One of them was, hey, welcome, Joel. One of those games back in the day was like a Death Note thing where you would load into a randomized scenario and you would be playing with real players and one of you would have the Death Note.
Right.
And you would have to it was asynchronous multiplayer where everybody would have to figure out who the killer is, or the killer would have to kill everybody without being found out.
Right.
And there was another one around the same time that was like a Higurashi-inspired thing. I remember playing both of... This was like maybe 6 to 10 years ago.
Naturally.
So Among Us being one of those, but in space, is kind of rad. How are you doing today, Joel? We are traipsing our way through Honest Hearts DLC.
We are traipsing our way through inventory management, is what we're doing.
Yes. We're making use of what we have.
It's true.
Which is not much, as it turns out.
Could be more.
Could be less.
That's also true.
Bix, we talked about this before. How do you feel about games jumping up in price?
Under what circumstances?
So, first-party Sony stuff is going to be $69.99, looks like, going forward. Which means, and I don't need to tell you this, but means that it's not going to be long before all games do that. Like, the industry's gonna follow along with that, I think, pretty soon.
That I don't support.
I don't support that, but I remember it happening. I mean, that's why we have $60 games right now, because of what Xbox pulled in the 360 generation. So we're gonna be having that again, looks like.
I think it's only a matter of time until we have another video game crash. That's what I think.
Man, I've been saying that for years, and I still think that's gonna happen.
There
are just... It's too many. It's too many.
It's too many and too much.
Ooh. Okay. This is actually a pretty decent deal. It looks like Humble Bundle has a... You get 12 games for $12.
Yeah?
And one of them is Catherine.
Hmm.
That's a pretty good deal. I don't know. I really like Catherine. Catherine's a good game. But I guess the question is, could I just buy Catherine for like $4 on a sale somewhere else?
And the answer is maybe. Whoa, fuck!
The answer is... What? What's going on? What's happened? Oh, there he is. It's alright, you can take him. You can take this, mangy mutt.
Wow! One hit!
Damn. Close. Well, that was 2 hits. Or at least that looked like 2 hits.
Oh, and it didn't save after I fast traveled. That's annoying.
That is what I would call unfortunate. Clancy Bear Fighter.
I had that motherfucker dead to rights. I'm pissed about it.
I know, it was like... I mean, to your credit, you almost killed that bear with your fists.
And it wouldn't have been the first one, either.
No.
I had that fucking bear dead to rights, and you know it.
I know it. Chat knows it. Everybody knows it. Okay, I think we have something to draw here. I like your new hat, by the way.
Yeah, we're doing that. I thought it was about time we had a change of headwear.
The mask served us well.
It did. But it's time for something new.
Time for a hat? Dumb fisherman hat.
I tried wearing a hat the other day. It was like a beanie. It kept tugging on my scalp and giving me a headache, so I stopped wearing it. Alright, you bear motherfucker. Round 2, come on.
Was it just like a super tight beanie on you, or what?
Yeah?
I wear beanies sometimes. It's the only hat that I can really wear. So Joel in chat writes, honestly, I think we're due for games increasing in price. Having them stick to $60 for decades is a little nutty. With inflation alone, they should be worth more in purchasing power in current dollars. So here's the thing, right? I agree with you in theory. I don't agree in practice for a couple of reasons. One reason that I don't agree is because I personally don't think that most games are worth $60 now. I think most games are worth, honestly, about $20 right now. And that games are a little bit overpriced. But that I can accept that as like, hey, we need to pay our people. But at the same time, I kind of don't think that that is going to change. Like, I don't expect that wages for game developers are going to increase. I expect all of that to go to publishing and all of that to go to major heads of studio. I don't expect that to trickle down to workers' salary.
Absolutely not.
That's just not the way that it ever works. And again, yeah, talking about AAA titles with crazy development cycles. I mean, those games make so much money that if that money went back to the people who legit made them, I would be very happy. I would be happy with potentially paying that, right? The other thing that I would say is, so $60 for you and me and Bix here is one thing, but when you consider that that price is also going to increase for, say, people who live in Canada, or people who live in South America, or anybody who lives in an area where the dollar is not quite worth as much, you're going to be looking at, like, in Canada, you're going to be looking at like $80 to $90 games depending on what's going on, like, per game. And that, I think, super sucks for people. But at the same time, I'm totally in agreement that, like, developers should be paid more. Developers should be paid more, and publishers should be paid substantially less.
Developers should be paid more, and video games should cost less fucking money to make and to buy. I don't need to see every single pore on, like, fucking Nathan Drake's face, okay?
Although
the diminishing returns have kicked in super hard. It's not worth it anymore.
Yeah, so looking at that trailer for Miles Morales, I'm kind of caught with, like, dude, PS4 Spider-Man looks really good, and PS5 Spider-Man looks like PS4 Spider-Man to me. I don't know. I there's a reason that I mostly stick to Game Boy games and, like, GameCube games and such, right?
Because it doesn't matter that they look that good. Who cares?
Asset creation is the big thing that bogs a lot of these types of games and projects down.
Exactly.
Excuse me, coffee. People are going crazy talking about like the visuals in the new Halo Infinite not necessarily looking up to snuff. And I look at that and I'm like, I don't know, man. Looks better than Halo 1 did. Kind of looks like how I remember Halo 1 to look, to be honest. Like, it doesn't look like Halo 1. It looks like my memory of Halo 1. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And that's good enough for me. That's kind of all I need. But I also recognize that that's not necessarily the case when you're dealing with mass market who, you know, wants the graphics and that's like the first stopping point.
And I've talked to people like that. It's really difficult to listen to.
A lot of people want graphics more than they want gameplay, which is, like, baffling to me.
Because it's been drilled into people's heads for, like, the last 10 years, probably longer, that graphics don't make a game.
And yet, here we are.
I think that the lesson here is that on the grander scale, the consumer is an idiot.
That's a difficult stance to take. I think some consumers are idiots, but only because there are so many consumers and people are consumers, and a lot of people are dumb, but a lot of people are not.
You're trying really hard to disagree with me. It's really
I'm
funny.
not. It's like I partially. The problem is that you're talking about literally everybody, right?
And I'm still right.
You're talking about literally everybody, and the generalization is just so huge because there are totally reasonable people, and then there are totally just you know,
Stupid
consumer-minded consumers. Yes.
Also known as stupid people.
Joel writes, I'm playing Classic WoW and I'm loving it.
I'm so sorry.
I'll say this. Classic WoW, that game looks fine to me. It looks like a game that came out on the Xbox because that's when it was developed. And I think it's fine. I still really like...
Even current WoW is a good example of graphical fidelity. It's fine. Oh, hello. 2,000 caps for free.
You wonder if the needle is moving right in the other direction. Some of the best titles on the indie scene are X-bit graphics with polished play experiences. Yeah.
See, that's kind of how I feel. Is that the ball is in... It's in the indie scene's court right now.
Yeah, I would say so. I would say... Well, okay. Here's a good example, right? Not necessarily an indie game, but definitely a lower budget game. Is that Samurai Jack Battle Through Time.
Yeah.
In everything about that game looks and plays like it came out on the PS2, and I'm super down for it. Like, that's kind of how I want games to look. And it doesn't need to necessarily be more than that.
It's
for
like
me,
we've been
gameplay
saying this whole time, graphics don't make a game.
Gameplay is always going to be king. Gameplay is king, queen, and rook, and everything.
Or as John Carmack would say, frame rate is king, which I also am inclined to agree with.
Yeah.
If the game runs like shit, then what's the point?
I can deal with a bad frame rate still. I would rather not. I would definitely, like, okay, I would say not a bad frame rate. I am still okay with games running at 30 FPS. That's fine for me.
I'll deal with it if I have to, if it's an old game, but if it's a new game, there's no excuse.
Yeah, that's what I mean. Like, if the game is... If I'm going to play Ocarina of Time on the N64, I'm going to have to deal with the fact that that game plays at 14 frames a second. And I can mentally put myself back in mind of like, yeah, this is how the game played. It's not great, but it's fine. And guess what? Then you can go on PC if you so choose and get your ultra widescreen fix and your emulator running and get everything running at like 120 FPS, and it's fine. It works. I can deal with either. I definitely prefer 60 FPS if ever given a chance. But here's my thing about that. Games almost never run at 60 FPS.
Yeah, because they're so focused on the graphical aspect of it.
I don't remember the last time that, like, a AAA game that I played at least came out and consistently ran at 60 FPS, unless you were playing it on PC with crazy ass specs that nobody can really be expected to buy. Spider-Man, I think, occasionally ran at 60 FPS, and then other times ran at 30.
I think that 60 FPS should be considered the minimum, but that's my opinion.
I think it depends. Okay, so I could see a certain case to be made for, like, a Telltale game, or, you know, God forbid, like a David Cage game or something. Like one of those types of games running at 24 frames per second, specifically because that's typically what film runs at.
And you'd still be full of shit, because there's no reason for it.
There's no reason for it.
It's not artistic, it's just ugly.
Yeah, well, okay, so here's my thing, right? People saying we want games to... We're okay with our game running at 24 frames per second because we want it to be a more cinematic experience are lying. That's just code for we either didn't have enough time or we couldn't optimize it well enough for it to run properly, so we're saying this. But if you're playing a game like, okay, you remember Late Shift, that FMV game that came out that was like Choose Your Own Adventure? If an FMV game comes out and the FMV game plays at 24 frames a second, artistically that I can understand, because looking at 60 frame per second film is dizzying and makes a lot of people sick, and I don't like it. Just look at The Hobbit. And aside from that, like if you're inputting controls and you're moving a character around, that should ideally be at 60 frames per second minimum.
And not only that, but like the higher the frame rate on fully rendered video, the more space it takes up by like orders of magnitude. It's kind of fucked up.
Yeah, it's pretty nuts. Okay, and see, here's the thing. Joel writes, our frame rates might start shooting up due to neural network interpolation. NVIDIA has a good algorithm running around at the moment. My thing is, I don't expect that to ever happen. I don't have enough faith in developers and publishers to utilize the technology properly. I expect only graphical fidelity to ever increase. That's the only thing that I ever expect to increase, because the idea of, well, what if we cut, how good would it look if we cut the frame rate in half and kept it at 30, is always going to be the argument that wins out when it comes to AAA games. They're like, well, we could get this many more puddles if we make it run half as good. You know what I mean?
It's absolutely ludicrous to me.
And then sometimes you get, like, a Nintendo first party that might come out, and it might run at 60, and those are occasionally stuff like that happens, and it's awesome. But also, Nintendo doesn't do that very much either. But you know, at the same time, Breath of the Wild had some pretty bad frame issues in certain parts of that game, and I still enjoyed it. It didn't bother me so much. I wish that it didn't. I wish that it hadn't had that. Okay, so Joel, the thing that you're saying about NVIDIA and their this is that kind of thing is mostly going to, I think, come back and affect PC players, which is good for us. But I don't expect the situation to ever really change for console players. And unfortunately, a lot of the time, PC players end up getting shafted because of the limitations of consoles.
It's true. It's a big problem. What's also a big problem is the amount of shit that I'm carrying. Big problem.
Yeah. There are a couple places where you can safely offload some of that stuff.
Yeah, but I can't fast travel to any of them. So I have no choice but to drop it.
It's unfortunate.
It's tragic.
I'm trying to draw a Yao Guai. It's not going well. I don't know what a Yao Guai looks like. I gotta open up another browser tab to get a visual representation of a Yao Guai's face. Because I think I just drew a demonic Pikachu.
I mean, I can say something that nobody will like, but it will be true.
Okay.
It's a bear with cancer.
Oh, I don't like that.
Told you.
It's a mangy mutt. It's a big mangy... It's a big mange.
That's
It
better
is
than
big,
what I said.
Big mange. Can that be the new Big Mood instead of Big Mood? Can Big Mood be Big Mange?
No, it can't.
I'm upset. I'm upset by that. Okay, I know what I did wrong in drawing this. And now I'll restart.
Good.
I thought it had, like, no snout, when in fact it has mostly snout. It's like 90% snout.
90%, you say?